Hey everyone, how's it going? This video is all about foam fire extinguishers. I was recently sent one by a good friend of mine. His YouTube channel name is cpercb. He also has an Instagram account called Asbestos Breakfast. Again, he's a good buddy of mine. Go check out his stuff. But yeah, he sent me this Amerex model 252 foam fire extinguisher. And I wanted to make some sort of video about it, unboxing it and filling it up, but you know, I kind of thought that was boring, so I wanted to do some other things with it, like use it on a few different fire scenarios and talk about foam fire extinguishers in general. So this video is a little bit all over the place is what I'm trying to say, but if you like fire extinguishers or just like learning something new, I think you'll enjoy the video. So let's get on to it. Okay, let's open up this package. If we look at the shipping label, as you can see, it's addressed to EZ250, also known as me. Cool. This is a sponsored video. Let's open it up. So let me switch hands, grab my utility knife, and attempt to open it up without embarrassing myself. This is actually the first unboxing video I've made in many, many years, so this is kind of fun to do again. And there it is, look at it. Amerex foam fire extinguisher. That's in super condition. Let's pull it out right there. And we don't need that anymore. So here it is. This thing is awesome. And there's the pin. Of course it's empty. And this extinguisher is good for Class A and B fires. When was it made, actually? I'm curious to know. 2013. Hey, that's when my channel started. That's cool. Anyway, so there it is. You may or may not know, but I actually already have an Amerex foam extinguisher. This one's a little bit older. I think it was made in 2011, 2008. But I've been having trouble with this one. It doesn't work, it leaks, and the handle assembly is very stiff, so I need to get parts for it, and it's kind of in beat up shape, but this one's in awesome condition, so super nice to get sent this by my pal, friend guy. A little something about me and fire extinguishers is I hate stickers like this. I hate these stickers, so I'm gonna try to take off all the unoriginal stickers and labels on it. I've always hated these too. Non-flammable. Yeah, I'd hope so. It's a fire extinguisher. But anyways, let's clean it up. It actually is already super clean. It kind of smells like car wash soap in a way, which is a nice touch. But it was already cleaned up for me. Very nice. Very cool. Thank you very much. I'm outside now with this foam fire extinguisher. I've removed all of the unnecessary stickers and labels. So I'm super happy with what it looks like now. So let's get this filled up. It's pretty easy. You need some water, which I have a water hose, compressed air, which I have an air compressor. These are charged to 100 psi of air pressure, so pretty much any standard air compressor usually can get you through that amount. And the last thing I need is dish soap to simulate the foaming effect that these fire extinguishers make. Dish soap isn't used in foam fire extinguishers. It's not recommended. Obviously, it doesn't successfully put out fires like real foam extinguishers do. But I'm not using the legit firefighting foam because, number one, it's expensive. Number two, I hate to buy some just to waste it for no reason. And number three, which is the biggest reason, it's a carcinogen, which means it causes cancer. And I don't want cancer, preferably. There have been studies about this, and it's more firefighters that deal with this foam on a daily basis have ended up getting cancer. But either way, I don't like that. Which is kind of another reason these fire extinguishers are falling out of favor. Like, for example, Amerex, who makes this extinguisher, discontinued it after it came out that the agent inside of these extinguishers, the foam, causes cancer. There was actually a big lawsuit about it, and the person that was suing, I think, got cancer from the foam, and they were suing a bunch of people, including Amerex, and after that, Amerex just decided to discontinue them. So even if they were willing to discontinue foam extinguishers, that's another kind of sign that these extinguishers are not popular at all. Again, they really have one use case. It's industrial facilities that have a lot of flammable oils or flammable liquids, pretty much Class B fires. That's what these are mainly good at extinguishing. You can see on the label it can also extinguish Class A fires as well. Yeah, these aren't popular so much anymore, but yeah, definitely when you fill them with dish soap, it doesn't make them good for Class B fires like I was saying, but it has that foaming effect that's pretty fun to mess around with. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'm not really using this as a real fire extinguisher anymore, just kind of a for fun thing to mess around with. So I will unscrew this hose and set it to the side, and then we will unscrew the valve assembly off of the extinguisher cylinder. And pull it out, which then we can pull out this little fill guide right there. With these fill guides, the way they work is when you're filling up this cylinder, this sits on the inside here, and you can look inside, and you want the water to sit just underneath the little cup. You don't want it inside. So like, for example, it's going to be hard to see it in there, but to kind of give you an example out here where my finger is, hard to see, but that's where you want the water level to be. You don't want it to be inside of this. So it's a pretty good way to kind of gauge how much water you have and how much water you need. Then I take water hose and fill up the cylinder, and then when it feels like the water level is kind of close to the top, I put this fill cap in to determine how much water I need or how much more I need to take out. And with the water level full, I now like to put in a generous amount of dish soap. Here's my air compressor attachment. It's just a little nozzle. I have this little adapter I made a long time ago to screw in here, and then I'll hold this here and charge it like that, which it's very sloppy this way. That's not the official method, but I'm very cheap when it comes to things like this. So we'll watch the pressure gauge, and when it gets into the green, that's when we know it's full. The last thing to do is screw on the hose, and I'll put it in its little spot. So it's good to go. Now let's have some fun. Well, by the magic of overcoming my laziness, I have decided to finally repair my other foam extinguisher. You can see it's fully charged, it's holding pressure, no leaks, and the discharge handle, the valve, is working perfectly. So now I have two Amerex foam extinguishers working. So I think what I want to do is the nicer one that I just got, we will save this for a real fire. And then this other one we'll just mess around with so I can kind of show you how the foam extinguishers work. So let's do that first. Let me show you how this foam fire extinguisher works and what it looks like when you discharge it. Of course, you saw I filled this with dish soap, so it's not going to look like the official AFFF foam, but it'll be similar in premise. But again, this will give you the general idea. So like with any fire extinguisher, the way you operate it is pulling the pin, releasing the hose from its holder, and then squeezing the handle, sweeping side to side. So let me show you what it looks like. So you can tell when you discharge it, out of the nozzle it releases the foam and it suds up, as you see. The nozzle's pretty important because this piece right here causes the actual foam effect. And you can see just how easy it is to cover the area with the foam. Let's talk a little bit about how the foam that's normally found in one of these extinguishers work. So the foam is called AFFF or AFFF, and its official name is aqueous form filming foam, which is a mouthful and easily a tongue twister. So when you discharge one of these, of course you see it'll spray as a foam. And when the foam hits the fire, it forms a very thin film around the fire, which rapidly cools it and causes it to be extinguished. It's very effective with Class B fires because the foam will sit on top of the burning liquid, and also very effective on Class A fires too because it cools the fire rapidly. Plus it's water-based too, and water's the best agent when it comes to fighting Class A fires. Amerex offered these in two different styles. The first one, which was the most popular, the one you're looking at now, is a 2.5 gallon version. And they also offered a smaller one, which is a lot harder to find. It was a 6-liter version. Both of the ratings on these extinguishers are different. I don't know what the 6-liter one is off the top of my head. I'm assuming it's gonna be something like 2A10B maybe. I'll look that up and put it on screen now. But for this 2.5 gallon extinguisher, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it has a rating of 3A20B. And that's actually more than a 2.5 gallon water fire extinguisher. So that in itself proves that foam extinguishers are more effective on Class A fires compared to water, again because of the foaming capabilities and cooling down the fire. Something else I've noticed with these extinguishers is they really don't have the longest range. As you can kind of see, if I had to guesstimate, I would say it's probably like 7 feet maybe. Foam extinguishers also have another use, and that is to prevent any fires from spilled liquids. For example, I might have a big jug of gasoline and I spilled it somewhere. It's not on fire, but I don't want it to catch on fire, so I can use the foam extinguisher and spray on top of it to prevent any ignition. For the first test using this foam fire extinguisher, I have set up a Class A fire. Well, I guess I will be setting it up. This is just the materials, which consists of cardboard and some paper products, so this will be a good Class A fire. So I have filled this with dish soap, as we saw earlier, which isn't the official agent for foam fire extinguishers like we've discussed. So this really won't be the best demonstration of a foam extinguisher because again, dish soap has not been approved to be used in these foam extinguishers, but I have 100% confidence that the fire will be put out by the foam extinguisher because it's water-based, number one. I mean, water's the best firefighting agent for Class A, and I think the dish soap added creating the foam effect will probably increase its effectiveness. I've actually heard some fire departments use dish soap in their water fire extinguishers, and they've reported good results for additional firefighting capabilities with water extinguishers, like improved performance, but no manufacturer or even NFPA for that matter recommend doing that with water extinguishers. But regardless, my point in saying is I think the dish soap will be of benefit to this extinguisher in putting it out. So let's see what happens. Well, as you saw, the foam extinguisher put out this Class A fire just fine. I wanted the fire to get a little bit larger, but the wind started picking up, so I just kind of wanted to extinguish it at that moment. But yeah, perfect and just as expected. So that was the first test, very successful, and now I'm going to refill this extinguisher and we will move on to the next test. We move on to test 2. And this is kind of where it gets real. If you can't tell by context clues, I will be starting a Class B fire with this gasoline I just bought today. And yeah, this could go dangerous very quickly because dish soap is not an approved method of firefighting. So yeah, this could go horribly wrong. I do have the proper fire extinguishers on standby that are rated for Class B fires in case anything does go wrong. But we'll see. Of course, if this extinguisher cannot put out this fire, that doesn't say anything bad about foam extinguishers because I don't have this filled with the correct agent, the AFFF foam. So that's on me if it doesn't work, but like I said, my curiosity is at its max level to see if dish soap can be at least semi-effective on Class B fires. If I had to take a guess right now, I'm gonna say this extinguisher with the dish soap will be able to put out this fire because it's gonna be so small. These pans are 10 inches in diameter, and I don't want to pour a lot of gasoline in them, so I want to say it can do it, but let's find that out now. So I will take some of this gas and pour it into these pans, just enough but not a lot. And okay, let's get this party started. So as you saw, this foam extinguisher filled with dish soap was able to extinguish this Class B fire. You might have noticed when I started discharging, the fire started flaring up. I don't know if that's a typical response with foam extinguishers, like when they are filled with AFFF. I don't know if that normally happens. It definitely obviously happened with the dish soap. Let me clean up, and I have one more test I would like to try. One last thing I want to mention, then I promise we will move on. A common strategy that firefighters recommend, as well as fire extinguisher manufacturers, when using a foam extinguisher is when you're discharging it to aim for any vertical objects. Like for example, I was discharging at the rim of those tin pans, and when you spray at a vertical object, it'll kind of bounce back on the fire to prevent, because if you spray it right at the liquid, it will splash everywhere. So if you try to aim it and let it kind of diffuse downwards, if that makes sense, it's a better way of fighting these fires. So I tried that strategy here, and I guess it turned out successful. It didn't splash too much. For the third and final test, I would like to do the spill effect, where if you accidentally spill flammable liquids, you can use the foam extinguisher over it to prevent any ignition, kind of like we talked about earlier. Like I said, dish soap has not been approved to fight Class B fires. We've said it, we saw it in the test a minute ago, but I wanted to mention that again. If this doesn't work, it doesn't say anything about foam extinguishers because it's not the right type of agent. Okay, I've said that enough. Let's get to it. So I have my other foam extinguisher that I sprayed off earlier. There's still some foam left with some pressure left over as well, so that's what I'll be using because I really don't need a lot. I have the gasoline again, which we will pour into the tin container. The gasoline has been spilled, so let's use the foam extinguisher to prevent an ignition. So I'm going to do the same tactic again, kind of hit the back of that tin container to bounce off the foam. Now I can almost guarantee you that won't ignite. Again, mainly there's mostly water. Well, that didn't work. I'm going to try that again. I think we all already know this outcome, but just to say I did it right. Well, I guess we didn't know this outcome. There is a fire now. Well, I did not expect that happening. Do you think that was a valid test? Maybe I should do it again, but with more foam discharged. Let's try that. Okay, test 3, take 2. Putting the gasoline in the container. And let's use more foam this time. Okay, surely that can't ignite. But I have been wrong before, as we just saw. Ooh. Don't know if you saw that, but that kind of ignited for a second. Well, like I said, dish soap is not a fire extinguisher agent, so that shouldn't be a bad thing. Again, that tells you another reason you shouldn't rely on dish soap for Class B fires, because you just saw it kind of ignited for a second. But I know this would be more of a legit test if I actually had a triple F, but you know. I think that's about everything I wanted to share about this Amerex foam fire extinguisher, and really foam extinguishers in general. They definitely have their place in the fire protection industry, and they're super cool if you get your hands on one. Of course, again, huge shout out to cpercb for sending this Amerex extinguisher to me. I really do appreciate it. Go check out his YouTube channel and Instagram accounts. And yeah, I think that's about it for me in this video. Check out some of the other fire safety related videos on my channel. I think you would like them. And let me know what you thought of this Amerex foam fire extinguisher and your opinions on foam extinguishers in general. So that's it, and I will see you in the next video.